You have an early prediction for 2020. I teased it in the open. I don't know if you want to go there or not, but
So I'm gonna say, kind of like the FCS was this year. I'm gonna say a wire-to-wire 1-2. Clemson, Ohio State.
mm-hmm.
They returned the two best players in the country, in Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields, and I just don't see anyone getting in their way. Although there is always a team that comes out of nowhere, not necessarily nowhere. Maybe that they start the year ranked, but they show that they are on that level.
Yeah.
I just find I don't see someone beating those guys in the regular season. You know, obviously Clemson.
Yeah.
They do go to Notre Dame this year because Notre Dame kind of plays an ACC schedule, so they go to Notre Dame. And Ohio State goes to Oregon. Kind of weird. Also, hold on. Oregon, what are you doing? Do you know who they opened the year with?
You told me.
Yeah, North Dakota State. What are you doing?
I don't know why anybody ever schedules.
No,
North Dakota
what are
State
you doing? Oregon.
It's the worst idea ever because if you beat them, nobody's going to be like, oh, great job by Oregon, beat North Dakota State.
Yeah.
But odds are it's going to be like 28-21 in the fourth, and you're going to have to just squeak that one out.
Yeah.
Much as West Virginia found out this year.
Yeah, stop it, Shane. Lions, stop scheduling JMU.
It's hard to argue with Ohio State and Clemson going wire to wire, especially if they get through the first couple weeks of the season, because I think from there it really smooths out for them.
Now those teams, I being from West Virginia, I know a lot of Ohio State fans. It's literally right on the Ohio River, border with Ohio. They really, really, really don't like Clemson.
Really?
They've never beaten them. They've played like 4 or 5 times. They've never beaten them. They got shut out in the one playoff, and they really feel like they were screwed pretty hard this year in the semi. And
look, man, Ohio State fans are freaking crazy. I don't know what you want me to do with that.
Well, no, I'm just saying like that adds to the context and the storyline.
I hope
those
you know what. Look, absolutely, and I like Justin Fields and I like Ryan Day, and generally speaking, like I kind of like Ohio State, but their fans' reaction to that Clemson game, and then also being on Twitter on Monday night talking about they're actually the best team in the country. I don't even know what to say to that. Like, just shut up. Like, you got a tough call in that game. I totally agree. Maybe 2 tough calls in that game. But you know what? You also had to kick 1,000 field goals from the red zone where you were one of the best teams, if not the best red zone team in the country this year.
You also had Clemson backed up to their 4-yard line with like 4 minutes to go. And all you had to do was not give up a touchdown. And you give up a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then you threw an interception in the end zone.
You know what the difference was between what LSU did with Clemson and what Ohio State did with Clemson is LSU cashed in when they got inside the 10, and LSU's defense played its ass off.
They put it away.
Absolutely.
Put the game away.
So I see that wrinkle, but I don't know. I think I almost be cheering for Clemson just out of spite.
Yeah. I'm just saying that could be the big storyline next year is this rematch of.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Probably the best semifinal game we've ever seen in the college football play. The Oklahoma-Georgia game was pretty awesome.
It was. It was pretty good. Speaking of Oklahoma.
Yeah, let's get into it.
I don't want to be a homer, but they were a year ahead of schedule. I think, we'll talk about this in a minute maybe, I think that Rattler is at quarterback for them this year. So 5-star, dual threat, number 1 at his position. Sat behind Jalen for a year, which hope to God after watching QB1 was good for his maturity. So he's already 4th in the Vegas odds to win the Heisman somehow.
It's ridiculous.
The group of young receivers that Oklahoma's got is very reminiscent of what LSU had this year. You know, whether you like Theo East and Jaden Hazelwood better, I don't care. UCLA transfer Theo Howard is apparently coming to Oklahoma.
Oh, great.
Kind of fits in that number 3 wide receiver spot. And then Austin Stogner at tight end he's going to be a stud. He has a chance to be the next Mark Andrews. And defensively, they don't lose much. And I don't even really care if they do because that defense was good in spite of its personnel this year, and it's only going to get better next year. And this year it was good enough to get to the Final Four. And much as you pointed out with Clemson in the ACC, Oklahoma in the Big 12, there's not a lot of resistance to them getting to the semifinal undefeated. So I think Oklahoma is a team to watch at risk of being called a homer, probably guilty as charged. I also think Georgia is really interesting as a contender for 20.
Yeah.
Fromm's gone, but I don't know that it matters because a couple of days ago they announced that Jamie Newman from Wake is coming in.
I really like him.
He's at worst he'll be a wash, I think.
Correct.
And at best he's an upgrade over Fromm, at least what Fromm was in 2020. And around him, they're loaded at running back. They got George Pickens at wide receiver, and it's the best defense in the country coming back probably. So I think Georgia is a team that
Totally agree.
that could easily rise up there and be a legit contender. Real quick, who do you think is going to be the overhyped team going into next year? This year, obviously, it was Ellinger and Texas all over every magazine cover. What do you think is going to be next year?
What's to say it's going to be any different after they just beat
They're back.
They just beat Utah, who, I mean, was there a more fraudulent team in the country, clearly, after the Pac-12 championship game and then that game? They were clearly just like an 8-5 football team, really, that just played a really bad schedule.
They've also mastered the art of getting into a bowl game against a team that just had its heart ripped out because it thought it was going to the playoff, and now it's not.
Yeah.
Like,
they did against Georgia last year, yeah. Man, that's a good question. I mean, I really think Texas will be too high because you have Ellinger back, and but I mean, you're replacing offense and defensive coordinators. Like, what is going to make me believe that they're going to be better on either side of the ball? I don't know. Like, I just see them as being like an 8-4, maybe 9-3 team again.
Maybe
like,
9-3, and they'll definitely be ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I agree. I think Texas will be Texas again. I think Auburn has a chance to also be the Texas next year.
Yeah, everyone's just going to assume Bo Nix is going to get better.
People love Bo Nix.
I know.
And I'm not exactly sure why they love him so much, but it's not even just a Bo Nix problem. Like, Auburn at wide receiver is just not that good. Like, Anthony Schwartz is incredibly fast human being. But what else is there around Schwartz at wide receiver? I don't even know who Nix is going to throw the ball to. So I think Auburn and Texas both will probably be in the top 10 coming into next year. Probably got Nix and Ellinger all over all of our magazines again.
Gosh.
And I think that they'll both be relatively disappointing. I think Auburn will go 9-3 and Gus will be on the hot seat again. And I think Texas will go 9-3 or 8-4 and be in the Texas Bowl or the Alamo Bowl, and they'll beat whoever just got their heart broken. Probably beat Oregon. Oregon will be losing the Pac-12 championship and play Texas in the Alamo Bowl.